Hello, everyone. So it seems yet again, another Zoom link not working. With that, actually, there was one person who was able to contact me and we had a private. And that is one of the original yogis. So anyway, I thought I would at least try to make up for it and post a video of some of the practice that was today, if you wanted to do it. So maybe during your day, it's very chilly. It's still pretty pea soupy out there. So anyway, if you could get your throw and your blocks and a strap, have them handy. We're going to do a bit of core work and stuff on our knees and some spinal extension. So with your blanket, or actually a throw is probably just the easiest, just tri-fold. And we're going to put that under our knees and come into our tabletop. So with our tabletop, we feel the gap under our legs. In fact, you can see it quite a bit at the front of the ankles. If you want to think about, for now, just curling the toes under and then sweeping back a little bit so that you get a little bit more extension through the toes. And I'm actually going to manually lengthen my pinky and the toe next to that. So once you do that, try to press a little more into those two toes so that you get them activated and included a little bit more. Wrists are pretty much under the shoulders or in the vicinity of, and then you're not locking your elbows. Your fingers are fanned out. Typically we say the middle finger is straight forward, but that's really a loose kind of cue. It should really be comfortable, and the wrists often get dumped into, so we want to use the pressure of the fingers, the knuckles especially, and then the forefinger and the thumb. So once we start to activate and use the energy of the hands, that helps us sort of gain access to the shoulders. So rolling the shoulders outward and shoulder blades onto the back. And again, using the strength of the hands to do that. So our knees, I can only see as I look at you guys somewhere out there that my hips are over my knees. If you sort of take a gander and check that out, make sure a little bit more. And so we're going to press into the hands, press into the balls of the feet, and then on an inhale, lift the body just ever so slightly. And on the exhale, see if we can slowly lower back down to the ground and release on the exhale. Inhaling, pressing into the hands and the feet, using the core, engaging, firming the belly. Inhale, lifting, and exhale. So as soon as you start to feel the blanket, you still slow down. The urge is to want to release right away, but you very in sync. So in sync, in symmetry, lower back down. So moving back and forth. The inhale is the work, the exhale is the release. Inhale again, activating the arms, the hands, the feet, the core, and then exhale, releasing. One more time. Inhale, and the top of the head is reaching forward, tail to the back. So it's a nice long spine. There's lots of space in the crook of the neck. And then releasing and pedaling at the same time or alternately the feet. So you want to feel some lubrication of the joints and then come back a bit more with the hips so that you're sort of balancing on the knees if you can tolerate it. And then do circles. Circles with the ankles, not fast circles, but these really sort of contemplative kind of efforts And then stop, bring the forearms down. I've actually changed it a bit, but we're still going to use some components that Miss Jody and I used this morning. So winding around, around, around. And Abby, I should say. So really it was 2 special deaths. And then turning the hands up. So opening and closing, letting the feet die. Opening and closing. Making sure that you are not pulling the head back. So it's the face towards the mat, shoulders dropping away from the ears, and then release and come on back. So we're going to come on back to our tabletop and again, sort of activate and rearrange things, and then getting a sense that the shoulder heads are strong and that there's a spinning out of the shoulders. So when you do that, you should feel sort of the flesh interact a little bit with the chest, and then roll in. Outward, external rotation, internal rotation of the arm. And you can feel the puffing up of the back, and you can actually see some of that thoracic back moving up and down. And so it's the upper body from the waist up that's active right now. Working to get the breath managed nicely. So it shouldn't be this really out of sync breath. And the slower we work with it, it's like kneading, the more beautiful it becomes, right? The more natural, kind of more instinctual, because you're better connected, right? With the body. And then releasing that. Let the hips move back on the exhale, let the head bow, and on the inhale, coming into this little cow. Exhaling back, sort of parceling in your middle belly, feeling that release as the pelvis tips. And inhale into your cow, letting the pelvis dip forward, right? It's dropping towards the ground. You're not forcing it. And on the exhale, you sort of scoop that lower belly up and you tip the pelvis back, right? And it creates a bit more space. Forward. And then back. And then let's stay in the backward position. Let our hands come towards us, right? One hand on top of the other, and then letting the forehead gently rest. And then a gentle side to side. And so as you do this, you're aware of things. And you stay like that, and then just let the head rest. I'm going to break pose and just check on something. You keep breathing, really tune in to the breath moving along the side of the back. So that's really what we want to pay attention on. And then slowly start to lift the head on the next inhale and allow the hands to come apart. Gently rolling the shoulders. I had to let somebody know I was trying to work out some of the Zoom kinks. I had to let them know that I was okay, but I'm just making a recording for you guys. That was the solution for me. And then coming to knees together, feet together. And so this is a nice change to make that posture a little bit more accessible, is to make a roll. That's it. set it back. So that's actually going to go at the front of the ankles. So where you feel the most pressure, that's where you want the dense part of that roll to be. And if you can bring your heels together and your knees together and start drawing together, as soon as you go to do that, you feel that belly draw in. And the idea that the chin is lower than the corner of the jaw. Maybe the face has a slight tilt. So the chin can still be low, but the face can be angled up. And then sort of notice, sometimes it feels like you have little points on your shoulders. And if you think about, do they feel like they're pointed in and you're sort of rounded at the back? Just think about rolling the shoulder heads open. You might feel a little bit of creakiness and crunchiness through that collarbone. So just noticing these things and letting the hands rest on the thighs, bringing the pinkies a little closer to the inside line of the leg and the groin, and then bring the forefinger and thumb together and extend gently, very lightly, the first 3 fingers, closing the eyes, and then coming to your intention. So versus a clear and present Om at the beginning to open the practice, this is more of this quiet, subdued, searching for the intention and letting it dictate and guide the practice. So for you this morning, what your intention is, letting the breath sort of envelope, cascade down the body. And so focusing on the breath where you feel a little bit of dis-ease. Setting that intention, hands to heart center, thumb tips touching the heart, and then letting the chin bow quite significantly. So you really want to feel it almost magnetized as it draws towards the chest. And then we might, on the inhale, let the head sort of work its way up and reaching back. So there's extension of the cervical spine, and then maybe drawing a little bit of the shoulders together at the back. And then as we exhale, again, chin to chest. So moving slowly and letting the chin really draw towards the chest so that we feel a little bit more of the loosening. And then on the exhale, the drawing of the shoulders together. And then release and let the hands gently come to the mat. Let them acknowledge the mat and then gently creep forward. So doing things with thoughtful contemplation, it doesn't mean that it's a simple, effortless kind of thing. There's a lot of effort, but it may look effortless. Okay? So also, it's how we look at things when they're simple, right? We discard them. We think they're not valuable somehow. And it's quite the opposite. So that's how we sort of open things up for ourselves. So now let's reach back and pull our blanket out and unroll it just slightly, and let's put it under our knees. And then coming to our tabletop. So finding that we're not locking elbows, hands are activated, right? So that helps us access our shoulders and our back. So get a sense that you've lightly pulled those lower ribs inward, that you're lengthening through the tail of it, and you're reaching with the head. So there should be space in the crook of the corner. The mantle of the shoulders is nice and wide. And then on an inhale, lift the left hand and the right knee. So drawing the belly in. So they're just sort of suspended. And my left foot is sort of dangling. So I'm actually going to turn it under. And I'm going to press more into my right hand. And then my left knee and my left foot. So you do the same. And on the inhale, we're going to gently score out to the side. and come back in on the exhale. And then again, a second time, inhale up. We're going to do this 4 times, each time getting a little bit of a wider range of motion. Inhale 3, exhale down. And then on the 4th time, we're going to keep it static. Exhale 4, and see if you can really focus on balance between the two grounded limbs, right? And then the front and the back body supported. And then on the exhale, bring that left hand down, take a breath in, draw the shoulders down, and on the exhale, bring that right leg to cross over the left and really squeak to the other side to the degree that you can, drawing down into the ball of the right foot, stabilizing more with your arms, and then rotate the biceps outward. So feeling the stretch and the breath moving into the right side of the body. So down the right side of the body, crossing over at that highway, yeah. And then feeling the anchoring of that right foot, and then exhale, release. Take a breath in, flatten the feet, exhale it out. Another breath in, straighten the spine, and exhale back for a rinse. And we might lift the hands up, create a fist, and inhale, come on back up. Okay, so reposition. Again, elevate, distribute, support, and then lift the left hand and the right knee. So when we do that, I'm going to put mine down again. When we do that, the footnote is that you're not destabilizing and everything isn't sort of moving in one direction, right? Drifting, you're not drifting. So on the inhale, we know we're going to go out a little bit. We have 4 tries with this. Exhale back to center. Inhale. So in time, in sync with the breath, activate the right forefinger and thumb. Inhale 3. Exhale, slow and easy and in sync, down. Last time, inhale. This is actually quite difficult. Finding breath. Oh yeah, I'm curling the toes under, right? Finding breath. And then I'm going to exhale the left hand down. Stabilize with the arms, spinning the biceps out. And then exhale, cross that right leg behind. Finding breath. And release. Exhaling back. Inhaling forward. And again, exhale back, stay here. Let the forearms drop down. Let's turn the palms up this time and squeeze and down. Inhaling, palms up and squeeze. Exhaling, release. One last time. Inhaling, squeezing, and release. Bring the head to touch the chest again. Inhale, head up, draw the elbows towards you. Open the shoulders on the exhale. Next breath in, draw the belly in, and exhale, head to the side. So it doesn't matter which side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to side. You might draw down through the arms and the hands a little bit more. That helps you broaden and activate the side body. So inhale back to center and exhale. And then back to center and release. Come on up. We're going to come off of our blanket, and this time we're going to make a little bit of a pillow for us. This is my speaker. And we're going to find a nice supine position. So as I'm laying down, I'm actually scrunching my blanket up. I'm going to come over and lower you. There we are. So the head is actually higher at the back end, right? It's sort of like we're having a little bit of TV. I'm actually going to create a little bit more of a divot for my head because that feels super, super comfortable. And who says you can't be a lot comfortable in our yoga, right? So my chin is coming a little bit more towards the chest right now. So finding breath, letting the arms draw out. And then when we do that, let's have a lot of conscious, right, connection into this area of the armpit as it connects to the pecs, right? So to the pectoralis major. And then if we could, it's sort of like the breast is leading over on each side. So it's this stretching and grounding underneath you, this kind of willing, sort of fighting to stay glued and released. And the shoulders lift a bit, not off the ground necessarily, but over. And then notice too how maybe the hips want to get involved. So we're going to allow that. We might even walk the feet apart. And so the idea is we want to connect to the experience of this, right? What is the experience and where can it change and deepen? And it might be about opening and closing hands. It might be about trying to get one knee closer to the ground, right? So if it's there, and it could go into really, really slow motion, right? So again, the eye can't see. The eyes will always be our biggest impediment. And then come on back. And then slowly, now we didn't do this morning, but all of a sudden this sort of came to me because it's quite fun, I think, if you can manage it. Draw the core in. So you're dropping one leg and it's like you're sort of running to one side. But again, it's this slow, very conscious movement. So the core is everything right now. And if it means this kind of thing, so an angle, right, this kind of toggling of the legs, because the full articulation of the posture may not be possible. And it could just be this kind of thing where you feel the angle of the knee pulling out to the side, right? So the thigh is trying to come to the side body. It's this opening, right? And this kind of waking up of our groin. And then with knees sort of widely coming towards the body and letting them rest. Well, spasms will happen. And then gently drawing together and apart and away. So it's this circle. Exhale, drawing with knees pressing gently together. Inhale, opening this nice scoring and enveloping, right? And exhale, really pulling the belly in to do this as you draw the legs to you. And I'm going to sort of work the arms with it as well. So again, what you choose to do with this. So it's this really kind of beautiful fluid movement, and the feet may want to be involved. So from the side, you see these sort of sweeping, measured movements. And again, you may want to pause because there's something there. It's a very slow, gradual progression. And just play with that. And you might now sort of have things hanging up in space. And then what happens if we stop and reverse it? For a moment, I thought I was Missy Elliott. And then, so you've caught yourself, right? And then feet, listen to you. And then let's bring the feet up in the air. Oh, this is so not what we did this morning. Stretching, and then we did do some massage, but it was through our neck area. But this time, it feels sort of really nice to let the fingertips score into the muscles. So into the fascia, sort of grating and clawing a bit at yourself, and then release. So the feet are this kind of slice of pizza, right? There's an angle. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the side. So these are strong legs, flexing toes. So if you look at your feet, you want the toes to be pulling down sort of in a straight fashion. And then maybe drawing the shoulders under you a little bit. And then take a breath in. And on the exhale, right arm comes towards the right ankle. I don't know if you can see, but I'm sort of gripping. You can do this from a standing position too, but it's holding and maybe drawing the leg away as you pull that right shoulder back and try to manage. Finding breath, maybe looking over the right shoulder. And exhale, release. Let the legs bend. Little bit of a breather. In and out. Inhale, legs up. You know where we're going with this, but still take your time like it was brand new. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, reach towards that right leg. So the right leg naturally wanted to come. See again, if you get the grip, that you try to draw the leg back so that the legs are even. And I just cheated. So really trying to hold on, really trying to draw the belly in. And then sort of looking over that left shoulder. Maybe pressing into the ground with that right arm. So there's a little more. And then exhale, release, fully release. And then cross and try to pull the feet apart. So you're hooking with the top part of the foot. And then exhale, release. Hooking and pulling, maybe even now trying to draw the knees out. So you have to be careful though, right? You have to moderate and modulate and then release. Bringing your arms to the side, finding breath. Tucking shoulders underneath you, really getting a sense that the arms are nestled next to the body, hands down, press down so you have this space underneath that thoracic back. And then on the inhale, pressing down to lift up. So the top of the thighs are reaching up, they're firm thighs. This is not all the buttocks doing the work where we're forcing and really, really firming and gripping with the buttocks. So it's the idea that there's this energy, this trajectory of energy. So firm from the top, knees are reaching away. The surface of the foot is broad. And again, it's very, very even in the effort. Chin is tucked towards the chest. Chest, right, sternum. It's funny how we have to use our hands to illustrate when you know clearly what I'm saying from the words. So really trying to bring the chest towards the chin. And then exhale, bone by bone, from the top all the way down. So the spine is a little more rickety, but as we go along, it will be a lot more fluid as we lower. So inhale, try to draw the sacrum down a bit, and exhale, going up. There will be lots of sounds as the world comes to life. And then again, exhale down. We'll have one more try. Relax everything. And inhale, going up. The shoulders may press down underneath you, so there's a bowing of the chest. And then exhale down. And then again, we'll do windshield wiper. So arms out to the side, exhale. We might flex the feet a little more. We might add a hand to draw down into one of the legs. So again, a little bit of an enriching or a deepening. That's it. And then we're going to go to the side, and if you can tolerate it, the front leg, the heel may catch the back leg's knee. Now this does bother a lot of knees, so you really have to think about it, right? And just again, a little taste maybe at first. And then once the body understands more about what's happening, it's the idea that you use the exhale to let things go, so that that wanting of the body to tense, right? The exhale is always what lets us release. Be vulnerable. And then exhale, release, take a breath in, back to center, and exhale. And this is where you can see more clearly. And I'm slipping off. And then again, I'm trying it out because I don't have any idea how it's going to be on this side. So you start to feel the release, and then that may put too much on the knee. So again, you find, the middle ground. And so I'm up higher away from the knee. And sometimes, again, you can have the hands help you, right? So that manual kind of effort. And then release. Finding breath, one more rounding of the back to soften, since that was a bit of a back bend. And a twist, right? So we know it activates more. And then letting things relax and open. And what I'm doing is I'm sort of reaching with the hips from side to side as I'm rocking. And the heels are naturally sort of grounded. And then release. So release this, what is often referred to as a pelvic bowl. And then let the breath come in there. And find your Shavasana. Closing the eyes. Allowing the breath to once again begin to find the landscape of the body completely. So from top to bottom and side to side, even the level. Without opening eyes, but still bearing witness to the thoughts that are happening, not feeling bad about them, letting the mouth fully soften, lips open, and just sort of take a little snapshot of what the energy is as you lay here. So get the full scope of where you feel the true flow, and where for you there might be some blocks, some inhibitions, some stagnant energy. And then gently start to bring some movements back, starting with toes. So just some wiggling of toes. And see if you can even get those little baby ones to buy in. And then you can start circling the ankles. And then let that go. And then maybe let the knees, the kneecaps sort of do a little dance. And then maybe it's the thighs, starting to squeeze the thighs. So alternate or together, you decide. And that, of course, knocks on the door of the gluteus maximum, gluteus maximus, maximum, minimus. So again, a little dance. And then the belly, some undulant belly. And then maybe, how do we even get the chest to sort of do something? A little bit of wiggling. And then shoulders, and then fingers. So again, it's how we do things, right? It will always be about how do we approach things. Right? And then a big inhale, stretching and reaching. And then turning on your right side. So rolling to the right side. I'm going to have half my body go. So the legs first, and then the torso follows. And just taking a few moments, again, to just see what's there without the eyes. And then gently on an inhale, leading and lengthening that top leg and sort of rocking up. And then finding your Sukhasana, your seated position, or any position that works just as well. Seat. And we might just sort of, again, rock. Right, finding the levity. And then I'm going to cross. And just play and noticing too the bumpiness, the muscles that get in the way of the sounds. Right, the awkwardness of things. Not getting hung up on. And then coming back. And then hands to heart center. Thumb tips to heart. And just a quiet vibration of sound or breath. So the mouth is lightly open. And again, just the connection, right? Making that connection for you of energy, of life, prana, life force, and consciousness. Ending with thumb tips to the third eye and the quiet awareness of truth and integrity. Thank you. Be well.